Hello, folks. This is Akash, and today's topic is mining complex data types. So, let's start. So, the first is complex data types for mining. So, basically, we have three types, that is, sequence data, graphs and network mining, and other kinds of data. So, in sequence data, we have time series data, symbolic sequence, biological sequences, and in graphs and network mining, we have homogeneous, and in other kinds of data we have spatial data, spatio-temporal data, cyber physical system data, multimedia data, text data, web data, and data streams. So let's start with the sequence. A sequence is an order list of events. So sequence data are classified based on their characteristics as time series data, symbolic data, and biological data. So in time series data, the data are of numeric data type recorded at regular level. They are generated by an economic process like stock market analysis, medical observations. They are useful for studying natural phenomena. Nowadays, this time series are used to piecewise data approximations for further analysis. In this time series data, we find a subsequence that match the query we search. Like for example, time series forecasting. Like it is a method of making predictions based on past and present data to know what happens in the future. Like trend analysis is a method of forecasting time series. Like it is a function that generates historic patterns in time series that are used in short and long term predictions. So we can obtain various patterns in time series like cyclic movements, trend movements, seasonal movements. As we see, they are vary with respect to time or season. Arima, Sarima, long memory, time series modeling are some of the popular methods for such analysis. So next, moving on to symbolic data. So in this type of ordered set of elements or events is recorded with or without a concrete notion of time. Like some symbolic sequences such as customer shopping sequences, web click streams are like a perfect example of symbolic data. So sequential pattern mining is mainly used for like symbolic sequence. These are constraint based pattern matching is one of the best ways to interact with user defined data. A priori is an algorithm used for this type of analysis. As you can see, there's a figure uh, which has customers C1 and C2. Like they are purchasing products at different time intervals. Like this is a perfect example of symbolic data. So moving on to biological data. So biological data is nothing but the real biological data, that is for example DNA, protein sequences. Like they are very long and complicated but have some hidden meaning, right? So these types of data are used for the sequence of amino acids or nucleotides. These analyses are used for like aligning, indexing, analyze biological sequences, and play a crucial role in bioinformatics and modern biology. Substitution trees are used to find the probabilities of amino acids and probability of intersections. BLAST, basic local alignment search tool. This is the most effective tool for biological sequence data mining. So hidden Markov model for biological sequence analysis is a data mining model. Like biologists would like to analyze what the sequence represents. To represent the structure or statistical regularities of sequence classes, biologists construct various probabilistic models such as Markov chains and hidden Markov models. In both models, the probability of state depends only on that of the previous state. Therefore, they are particularly useful for the analysis of biological sequence data. The most common methods for constructing hidden Markov models are the forward algorithm, the Wordtree algorithm, and the Baum-Welk algorithm. So the next part is mining graphs and networks. So uh, obviously, as we know, graphs represent a more general class of structure than sets, sequences, lattices, and trees. And whenever, therefore, we use graphs to represent data mining. So basically, the graph and network mining have become increasingly important and heavily researched. We overview the following major themes. The first one is graph pattern mining, statistical modeling of networks, data cleaning, integration, and validation by network analysis. clustering and classification of graphs and homogeneous network, clustering, ranking and classification of heterogeneous network, role discovery and link prediction in information networks, similarity search and overlap in information networks, and lastly, evolution of information networks. And let's go each in detail. So, like, what is graph pattern mining, right? So, it is a mining of frequent subgraphs, like the patterns present in the subgraphs or a set of graphs. So, methods for mining graph patterns can be categorized into a priori based and pattern growth based approaches. uh, Graph pattern mining has many interesting applications. Like, for example, it can be used to generate compact and effective graph index structures based on the concept of frequent and discriminative graph patterns. Approximate structure similarly search can be achieved by exploring graph index structures and multiple graph features. Like, moreover, classification of graphs can be also performed effectively using frequent and discriminative subgraphs as features. So, in statistical modeling of networks, there are basically two types of networks: homogeneous and heterogeneous. Like, uh, the name itself says, homogeneous means a single node and a single link. The best example I can narrate is a friend network, a co-author network, or a web page network. And whereas in heterogeneous network, the nodes and links are of different types. For example, publication networks, where authors, conferences, papers, contents are linking together, right? And in another example would be healthcare networks, where linking together doctors, nurses, patients, diseases, and treatments. So researchers have like proposed multiple statistical models for modeling homogeneous networks and as well as heterogeneous. The most well-known generative models are the random graph model, that is also known as Adors-Renyi model, named after the data engineers obviously, and the Watts-Stregwerts model, the scale-free model. So, in the most large scale social networks, a small world phenomenon is observed. Like, that is, the network can be like characterized as having a high degree of local clustering for a smaller fraction of the nodes, while being no more than a few degrees of separation from the remaining nodes. So, next is data cleaning, integration, and validation by information network analysis. So, as you know, like, real world data are often incomplete, noisy, uncertain, and unreliable. So, information redundancy may exist among the multiple pieces of data that are interconnected in a large network. Information redundancy can be explored in such networks to perform quality data cleaning, data integration, information validation, and trustability analysis by network analysis. Like, for example, we can distinguish authors who share the same names by examining the network connections with other heterogeneous objects such as co-authors, publication venues, and terms. In addition to that, we can also identify inaccurate author information presented by booksellers by exploring a network built based on author information provided by multiple booksellers. So, this helps to reduce the costly efforts of labeling the data by hand and of training on massive dynamic real world datasets. So, as I have mentioned before, like the heterogeneous networks, they are like interconnected nodes and links of different types. So, such interconnected structures contain rich information which can be used to mutually enhance nodes and links and propagate knowledge from one type to another. So, clustering and ranking of such heterogeneous networks can be performed hand in hand in the context that highly ranked nodes in a cluster may contribute more than their lower ranked counterparts in the evolution of coherences of a cluster. Clustering may also help consolidate the high ranking of object links dedicated to the clusters. So, moreover, users may specify different ranking rules or present labeled nodes links for certain data types. knowledge of one type can be propagated to other types. Such propagation reaches the nodes links of the same type via heterogeneous type connections. So algorithms have been like developed for supervised learning and semi-supervised learning in heterogeneous networks as well. So next is role discovery and link prediction in information networks. So there exist many hidden roles or relationships among different nodes or links in an heterogeneous network. Like for example, we can take an advisor advisee or the leader and follower relationships in a research publication network. To discover such hidden roles or relationship, experts can specify constraints based on their background knowledge. Enforcing such constraints may help cross-checking and validation in large interconnected networks. Information redundancy in a network can often be used to help weed out objects links that do not follow such constraints. So similarly, link prediction can be performed based on the assessment of the ranking of the expected relationships among the candidate nodes or links. Like for example, we may predict which paper an author may write, read, or cite, like based on the author's recent publication history, right, and the trend of research on similar topics. So roughly speaking, people refer to link prediction as link mining. However, link mining covers additional tasks including link based object classification, object type prediction, link type prediction, etc. So next is similarity search and OLAP in information networks. So similarity search is a primitive operation in database and web search engines. Like by organizing networks based on the notion of similarity and clusters, we can generate multiple hierarchies within a network. So on OLAP, which is online analytical processing, can be can then be performed. Like for example, we can drill down or dice information network based on different levels of abstraction and different angles of views. Like OLAP operations may generate multiple interrelated networks. The relationships among such networks may disclose interesting hidden semantics. So the next is evolution of social and information networks. So networks are dynamic and constantly evolving, as we know, and detecting evolving communities and evolving regularities or anomalies in homogeneous networks can help people better understand the structural evolution of networks and predict trends, irregularities, and in evolving networks. Like for homogeneous networks, the evolving communities discovered as subnetworks consist of objects of the same type, such as a set of friends or co-authors. Like for heterogeneous networks, the communities discovered as subnetworks consist of objects of different types, right? So such as connected set of papers, authors, venues, and terms, from which we can also like derive a set of evolving objects for each type, like evolving authors and themes. So this is the last part, mining other kinds of data. So the forms of data that comes under the other kinds of data mining are some of these, like spatial data, spatio-temporal data and moving objects, cyber physical system data, multimedia data, text data, web data, and data streams. So first is mining spatial data. So what does it do? Like spatial data mining discovers patterns and knowledges from spatial data. Spatial data in many cases refers to geospace related data stored in geospatial data repositories. These are mostly in the form of vectors and raster formats, so or in the form of imagery or geo referenced multimedia. So from these we can construct spatial data cubes that contain spatial dimension and measures and support spatial OLAP for multidimensional spatial data analysis. So spatial data mining can be performed on spatial data warehouse, spatial database, and other geospatial data repositories. So spatio-temporal data are the data that relate to both space and time. Spatio-temporal data refers to the process of discovering patterns and knowledge from spatio-temporal data. A cyber physical system, that is CPS, typically consists of a large number of interacting physical and information components. CPS systems may be like interconnected so as to form large heterogeneous cyber physical networks. Examples of cyber physical networks include a patient care system that links a patient monitoring system with a network of medical information and an emergency handling system. Mining multimedia or multimedia data mining is the discovery of interesting patterns from multimedia database that stores and manages large collection of multimedia objects, including image data, video data, audio data, as well as sequence data and hypertext data. And that may also include text markups and linkages. So text mining or mining the text data draws an informational retrieval, data mining, machine learning, statistics, and computational linguistics. So basically, it is stored as text such as news articles, technical papers, books, digital libraries, etc. So the retrieval of such information can be done through mining text data. As we all know, the World Wide Web serves a huge audience with a huge amount of data. Mining into the web data is a real challenge. So web content mining analyzes web content such as text, multimedia data, structured data. Like this is done to understand the content of web page, provide scalable and informative keyword based page indexing, concept resolution, web page relevance and ranking, web page content summarize, and other valuable information related to the web search and analysis. So web structure mining is the process of using graph and network mining theories and methods to analyze the nodes and connection structures on the web. Web usage mining is the process of extracting useful information, for example, user click streams from server logs. It finds patterns related to general or particular group of users. It understands users, searches patterns, trends, and associations, and predicts what users are looking for on the internet. It helps improve search efficiency and effectiveness, as well as promotes products or related information to the different group of users at the right time. Web search companies routinely conduct web usage mining to improve their quality of services. So last is mining data streams. So this includes collecting information about stream data in sliding windows or tilted time windows, and exploring techniques like microclustering, limited aggregation, and approximation. Many applications of stream data mining can be explored, for example, real-time detection of anomalies in computer network traffic, botnets, text streams, video streams, power grid flows, web searches, sensor flows, and cyber physical systems. Thank you.